day the twins were born began like every other day in Umudara village. The rooster crowed before dawn. Farmers carried their hoes over their shoulders and disappeared into fields covered with morning dew. Women balanced baskets on their heads as they made their way to the market. Children chased one another between mud huts where smoke coiled from cooking fire. Inside a small compound, Munachi steadied pot of bitter herbs over a fire. The village midwife had instructed her to drink the concoction every morning until the baby's came. She winks as another pain twisted through her stomach. These children are impatient, she muttered. Another pain stroke. This one was stronger. The wooden spoon fell from her hand. She grabbed the edge of the cooking stand. Her eyes widened. The baby, she screamed. The baby is coming. Her voice echoed across the compound. Instantly, her mother-in-law, Nneka, rushed out of the hut. What is it? The pains. A neighbor, Mama Dozie, who happened to be passing by, dropped the basket and ran over. Quickly, help her inside. The two women supported Munachi into the hut as another contraction whipped through her body. Inside, the labor began. At first, everything seemed normal. Then something strange happened. As Munachi screamed, the sunlight outside began to fade. Nobody noticed it immediately. The women were too busy helping her. But with each cry, the world grew darker. The bright morning sky turned grey. Grey turned into deep shadows. Deep shadows became complete darkness. Mama Dozie suddenly froze. Nneka, what? Look outside. Nneka glanced through the doorway. Her mouth fell open. The entire village had disappeared beneath darkness. People outside were shouting in confusion. What is happening? Isn't it already? As an eclipse come? Inside the hut, men could barely see each other. Mama Dozie already lit a candle. The tiny flame flickered across the walls. At that exact moment, Munachi gave a final scream. A baby cried. The darkness reached its deepest point. The woman stared. The child's skin was black as fresh charcoal. Not brown, not that brown, black. Her tiny hair was silver grey, grayer than Nneka's, grayer than any newborn baby they had ever seen. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Munachi looked at the baby, then looked again. Fear crept into her eyes. What kind of child is this? She whispered. Nneka crossed herself. I do not know. Before anyone could say more, Mama Dozie gasped. Wait, she pointed. I can see another head. The woman exchanged shocked looks. Push again, Nneka shouted. Push! Munachi screamed. The moment she began pushing, the darkness started to retreat. Light poured through the doorway. The sky brightened. The sun returned, brighter than before. By the time the second baby arrived, the hut glowed with golden sunlight. The child that emerged looked like a piece of the sun itself. Her skin was unbelievably fair. Her hair shimmered like strands of gold. She opened her eyes and immediately started crying. Silence filled the hut. Two babies, one from darkness, one from light. Side by side in the basket, they looked like night and day. That evening, Chika returned from a journey. The moment he entered the compound, he heard the cries of newborn. His face lit up. My daughters! He rushed inside. When he saw them, he stopped. Not from fear, from amazement. They are beautiful. Munachi stared at him. Beautiful? Of course. He picked up his dark-skinned baby face. The little girl wrapped her tiny fingers around his thumb. His heart melted instantly. Look at her eyes. Nneka frowned. You're not concerned. Concerned about what? The way she looks now. Chika laughed. She's my daughter. He kissed her forehead, and she's perfect. Tears filled the baby's eyes as if she understood. The first child was called Oyiye. The second child was named Ioma. But as the years passed, very few people called them by their names. They became darkness and light. One afternoon, when girls were 8 years old, a clay pot shattered in the kitchen. Munachi rushed inside. What happened? Your man, Oyiye, froze. The broken pot lay on the floor. It has actually been Ioma who accidentally knocked it over while dancing. But before she could speak, Munachi pointed at Oyiye. You did this. Oyiye shook her head. I think it's Mama. Liar. Ioma stepped forward immediately. No, Mama, it was me. Munachi blinked. What? I broke it. Munachi's anger vanished. Oh, she turned away. Be careful next time. Oyiye stared. If she had been blamed, punishment would have followed. But because it was Ioma, nothing. After their mother left, Oyiye lowered her head. You shouldn't always protect me. Ioma smiled. But you're my sister. You will get in trouble someday, Yoma laughs. They will be in trouble together. The twins hugged. Hidden behind a smile, Onye fought tears. 1 year later, a wealthy chief invited the entire village to his daughter's celebration. The compound buzzed with excitement. Yoma wore a beautiful yellow wrapper. Munachi decorated her hair with beads. Inika admired her proudly. My sunshine. Onye emerged from the house, wearing her own wrapper. She had spent hours preparing. For a moment, she dared to hope. Maybe this time, maybe they will let her come. Munachi's face added instantly. When do you think you're going to? To the celebration, Mama. The courtyard became silent. Munachi laughed coldly. The celebration is during the day. Onye's smile faded so. Munachi folded her arms. People might get frightened. The words struck harder than a slap. Munachi folded her hands. People might get frightened. The words struck harder than a slap. I will cover my hair. No. I will stay close to Papa. No. I won't talk to anybody. No. Tears formed in her eyes. Please, Mama. Munachi grabbed Yoma's hand. Let's go. The family left. Odi Chika hesitated. He looked back. His daughter stood alone in the compound, fighting tears. He walked over and hugged her. I'm sorry. Onye forced a smile. It's okay, Papa. But it wasn't. As she watched them disappear down the road, she finally allowed herself to cry. The celebration music drifted from the village square, and for the 100th time, darkness was left behind. Meanwhile, Mama Doze never stopped talking. One afternoon, she sat beneath a tree surrounded by women. You should have seen it yourself, she exclaimed dramatically. The sky became black. The woman gasped. Black? As black as burnt yam. She stood up to hat it out. The first child came out looking like midnight itself. What about the second one? Mama Doze slapped her thigh. Like sunlight. The woman burst into shock whispers. You are lying. I see on my husband's goods. She lowered her voice. One child controls darkness and the other, light. The story spread across every corner of Omudara. Some people who had never seen Onye feared her. Some called her a spirit, others called her a curse. None knew the gentle girl hidden behind the rumors. As the years passed, Onye learned to live in the shadows. By day, she remained hidden inside the compound. By night, she became free. If you're still watching to this point, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps this channel. The darkness that frightened everyone else feels like a good friend to her. When the moon rose and the village settled into sleep, she would quietly slip from her sleeping mat. Every creak of the wooden door made her heart race. Every bark of a dog made her freeze. But the excitement of seeing the world was always stronger. Stronger than the fear of being caught. And every single time, two people helped her father and her sister. One evening, shortly after her 17th birthday, darkness carefully tied a dark scarf around her silver hair. Yoma sat nearby pretending to sleep. Their father sat outside carving wood. The moment Munachi's snores filled the house, Yoma opened one eye. She's asleep. Onye grinned. Are you sure? Yoma listened. A loud snore echoed through the room. The twins burst into silent laughter. Cool, Yoma whispered. Before she wakes up, Onye squeezed her sister's hand. I will bring you roasted granules. You said that yesterday, and then forgot. And the day before, and the day before that. The girls giggled. Then Onye slipped into the night. The village square looked completely different after sunset. Oil lamps flickered. Drummers filled the air with music. Young men wrestled for fun. Children played games. Old men told stories beneath giant trees. Nobody looked twice at Onye. The darkness concealed her skin. For the first time in her life, she felt normal, free, happy, human. That night, she returned home later than usual. As she tiptoed towards the hut, disaster struck. The door suddenly opened. Munachi stepped outside carrying a clay cup. Onye froze. Her heart nearly stopped. Munachi narrowed her eyes. Who is there? The moonlight illuminated Onye's face. For a terrible second, mother and daughter stared directly at each other. Munachi's eyes widened. Onye! Panic flooded Onye. Before she could answer, a voice came from inside the hut. Mama! It was Inyoma. Munachi thought, what is it? I had a nightmare. Immediately, Munachi rushed back inside. Onye remained frozen. Inside the hut, Inyoma sat upright, pretending to cry. Mama, there was a snake chasing me. Munachi sighed heavily. At your age, I was scared. By the time Munachi comforted her and returned to sleep, Onye had safely slipped inside. The following week changed Onye's life forever. It was one of her secret nighttime adventure. The moon hung low over the village. Silver lights covered everything. The air smelled of flowers and fresh heads. Onye wandered further than usual until she reached the old village stream. The water shimmered like liquid glass. She knelt beside it. For a moment, she simply admired her reflection. The face staring back at her was pitiful. Yet all she could hear were the insults she had endured her whole life. Darkness. Curse. Strange child. Monster. A tear slipped down her cheek. Suddenly, a voice spoke behind her. I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Onye jumped. She spun around. A young man stood beneath a nearby tree, tall, broad-shouldered, and some enough to make anyone stare twice. His smile was warm. His eyes sparkled with amazement. Onye immediately covered her face. Don't look at me. The young man frowned. Why? You'll be frightened. He laughed softly. Should I be? Everyone else is. The stranger stepped closer. Moonlight fell across her face. He finally saw her clearly. The charcoal dark skin, its silver hair peeking beneath her scarf, the honey brown eyes. For several moments he simply stared. Onye lowered her head, yet it clenched thought the fear, the disgust, the pity. Instead he smiled, not a false smile, a genuine one. Your eyes are incredible, she blinked. What? They look like honey. Nobody had ever complimented her before, not once. She didn't know how to respond. The young man chuckled. You always look this shocked. Onye found herself laughing. The sound surprised even her. I've never heard anyone say anything nice to me before. His smile faded slightly. Then the people around you must be polite. Her heart skipped. For the first time in her life, someone was looking at her and seeing beauty. Not darkness, beauty. What do you think will come up next in Coke and Fanta? Do you think it will end in happy ever after or a sister's betrayal? What do you think? Thank you for watching and please like, share, leave a comment if you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.